Hello and welcome. Today we've got something special for you. So sit down, take a round, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to another movie review. Comic book movie review, of course, because, well, let's face it, those are probably most of the only movies that I review. That and horror movies, I guess. Some other movies too, but you know what I mean. So anyways, interesting story. Who would have thought this would happen? But I was out last night and mysteriously drawn to this weird field. And I'm like, oh, wow, why do I want to go in this field? Like, I couldn't quite explain why. It's almost like something was luring me there. And so I was like, okay, cool, whatever, I'll go in this field. And what do I come across? A dying alien. Can you believe it? A dying alien. Me, DCompose. Like, what are the odds? Like, really? And so anyways, so I go up to sky, aliens in a spaceship, go to a spacecraft, I'm like, hey dude, alien dude, yo, it's DCompose, have you ever seen my shit? It's like, oh, DCompose, I've been going all over the galaxy looking for somebody to take my place, looking for somebody awesome and cool, and I saw your shit on YouTube, and I was like, oh my god, you're the guy I want, you're the guy we need. So I'm like, oh, fuck, cool dude, well, what do you mean? He's like, here, he gave me this ring. He's like, here's a ring. I feel kind of weird taking jewelry from a dying alien. Not usually my thing. But I'm like, fuck, cool, dude. Hey, man, thanks for the ring, buddy. I said, what do you want me to do with this? So he gave me a Coleman lantern, too, a propane lantern, and said, you'll know when it's time. You'll put the ring on, you'll speak the oath, you'll do the shit, it'll happen. So like, fuck, cool, thanks, dying alien dude. So anyway, I don't even know if he's dead. He might still be out there for all I know. I guess I should have stayed and helped him out longer. But I kind of want to bring this to the pawn shop, see if it was worth anything. Haven't gotten there yet. But anyways, I decided I was going to do the whole thing, the whole oath thing. Oath thing. The old oath thing, Quaker Oats. The whole oath thing first. So, as you can see, ring on finger. So, I guess now I gotta speak the oath. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light! Holy shit! It fucking worked! Awesome! Look at that, man. I'm now just like Hal Jordan. Well, I guess a ginger Hal Jordan. So maybe I'm Guy Gardner. Okay, I'm Guy Gardner, I guess. The red-headed Green Lantern. So, as you guessed it, this is going to be the Green Lantern review here. So, sit down, stick around, and as always, enjoy. So we're going to start off the review here. I'm not going to wear the mask during the review because I don't want to look too cheesy. Although it does look kind of cool. I still will wear my ring of power though because, let's face it man, this thing rocks. Green Lantern the movie. Alright. This is the thing about the movie. First thing I want to talk about here. When I guess the first reviews that came out of this, first of all, apparently they weren't letting the press see it beforehand, screeners and all that. So already that kind of puts up a red flag for me. They have something to hide, which is what you would think. So I was like, I kind of don't like that. And then some people went online that actually got a chance to see it. Apparently said it wasn't really that good. Some people in the industry, in the comic book industry, saw it. Not going to name any names, and trashed it. Could actually respect the guy who trashed it. And he said that it was worse than The Phantom. Now, for those of you who know, The Phantom is actually the movie. That and Tommy, the musical by The Who. Phantom and Tommy are my two most hated movies. So to hear that this was something that was worse than the Phantom scared the shit out of me. I won't lie to you. So when I went to go see the movie, I had extremely low expectations, which is probably a good thing, because I walked out of the movie actually not minding it. It's not a bad movie. Is it great? No. Does it really represent Hal Jordan the way Ryan Reynolds played the role? No, not at all. But it's still an entertaining movie. Something I want to talk about this movie is usually I don't go see movies in 3D unless that's the only option I have, because I prefer to see just 2D, because I find 3D is a little overplayed in that, and it's just everybody 3D, 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 you know, whatever. Except for Transformers. I go see Transformers in 3D just because it's Transformers. But I try to stay away from it if I can. I didn't go see Thor in 3D. But the theater where I was going at only had it in 3D, so I had no choice. I had to go see it in 3D. And I must say, the 3D in the movie is actually pretty good. I liked it. Found the scenes when they were flying out, towards the city and that, it actually looked really cool. It's like they were flying into the screen. The whole beginning sequence, the whole start with Parallax attacking Abin's sword and all that actually looked really well done in 3D. It actually really looked neat. So I can't really knock the 3D on this. The 3D actually really wasn't that bad. Definitely had its good moments. Like any other 3D movie, some moments are just, I can look with the shades, without the shades. Doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. But 3D effects were pretty good. Is this a monumental hit for a $300 million budget? No. I can tell you that right now. Doesn't really look like a $300 million movie, but nonetheless, it's not a bad movie. It's entertaining. Like I said, Hal Jordan, it doesn't really represent him that well. But overall, it's not it's still not a bad. It's like throwing that comedic stuff in there. Not all that bad, because let's face it, Hal can be kind of bland. So that was okay, I guess. Some things that stood out in the movie that bothered me were things like Parallax's narration. Parallax is narrating the movie at some point. He's looking at the camera oh, you have the ring of power, the one of Abin's sword. Oh, I'm going to go get it from you. Oh. It's like, who the fuck are you talking to? Who are you talking to in space, buddy? You're alone. Who the fuck are you talking to? I don't get those types of scenes. It's he has to narrate the movie to nobody. He's a character in the movie. He's not a narrator. Anyways, I really didn't get that. So that was one of the things that I laughed at when I was watching this thing. It looks like the movie was edited very strangely. Some scenes were just cut, and then it jumps to something. You're like, what just happened? Hal's getting in a fight inside the warehouse, and boom, he's flying out the warehouse with Carol Ferris. You're like, what happened? How did he get there? What happened? I'm missing something in the warehouse scene here. It kind of felt like that for a lot of scenes. So I don't know who did the editing on it, but yeah, it's a little off. Carol Ferris, she's a strong woman in the comics. I get that, but she really came across I don't know. It's her and Hal, the whole relationship came across I can't explain it. It's ugh. It's you don't care. You don't care for Carol. You don't care about the relationship at all, because you don't fucking know if there ever was one. It's just weird. I guess that was a bit of a pet peeve. The Sarsgaard played a good role, I gotta admit. The guy's kind of funny, because he reminds me of a young, short John Malkovich. So he actually did a good job in his role. I think the best or most impressive performance was Mark Strong as Sinestro. Definitely. It's kind of sad that, it's sad, but we get the first movie here, we're going to get the origin of the Green Lantern and all that. Parallax, there wasn't really many fight scenes with them and all that. I really didn't get a connection of a big war between the two, which, it's kind of missing, I guess. So there's no real development in that retrospect. I find, though, Mark Strong had a really great lines, delivered them well. I wasn't convinced that Ryan Reynolds is Green Lantern, but I was definitely convinced that Mark Strong was Sinestro. So if that's any consolation. The scene right after the main credits, I kind of knew it was coming because after they forged the yellow ring, I was just sitting there waiting and thinking to myself, come on, in the credits, at the end of the credits, I just want to see Sinestro put that ring on. And that's why I kind of sat down and stayed. I didn't know there was going to be anything after during the credits. But in my mind, I actually had that scene in the head. I'm like, he has to put the ring on. And lo and behold, he does. And it looks awesome when it's transforming him all the yellow and black. And the eyes go all like fiery and stuff. And beautiful! Embracing the color of fear. I love that. So that was definitely... Oddly enough, that was probably like one of my highlights of the entire movie, and it comes after the movie. But like I said, Mark Strong did a good role. Ryan Reynolds, yeah. Skarsgård, a good role as well. It's not a bad movie. If you're a Green Lantern hardcore fan, I consider myself a pretty big fan, but not like die-hard hardcore like some people out there. You might be disappointed. I still think it's better than Superman Returns. So at least it's got that going for it. It definitely doesn't fit the same mold as Batman, and I find the Marvel movies, what they're doing is that, I don't know, it's more about building up character and learning to like the character, or learning to appreciate all the different characters, and I think that Chris Nolan has that in Batman. I don't find any of the other DC movies have that yet. And I think that Marvel is actually leaps and bounds ahead of DC when it comes to that. So that's definitely something that they're going to have to work on for future endeavors. So, my final synopsis of Green Lantern. It's an okay movie. I'd even say it's a good movie. It's a movie. It's good, It's not as good as other movies that I've seen. It's not the superhero bomb movie this year. In my opinion, both Thor and X-Men by far is the best superhero movie of the year so far. And, I think the Green Lantern, they spent a lot of money hyping this thing up. And I don't think it paid off in that way, shape, or form. But to say that it's as bad as the Phantom is a huge exaggeration. So be your own judge. Leave a comment. And until next time, guys, take care. Later.